Have you ever felt watched, even when you knew you were alone? Have you ever heard footsteps when no one else was there? I learned the hard way that sometimes the silence isn't comforting, it's a warning. And worse, the danger was right across the hall. For 2 years, I lived in what I thought was the perfect little apartment complex. Clean, affordable, and quiet neighbors. But everything shifted when the tenant in the apartment across from mine, Unit 6B, suddenly moved out. It was empty, or so I thought. At first, it was small, explainable oddities, faint noises at night, like someone pacing back and forth in the vacant unit. I told myself it was harmless, probably old pipes or echoes, but deep down, I knew. I could feel something different, something wrong. And then, one night, I experienced it firsthand. I'd come home late that evening. The hallway was dim as usual, the buzz of the exit light humming softly in the background. But as I approached my door, my breath caught. The door to Unit 6B, the empty apartment, was cracked open. Not wide, just enough to reveal a sliver of darkness. I stopped dead in my tracks, my instincts kicking in. But instead of checking, instead of questioning it, I just walked past it, pretending not to see, pretending it meant nothing. But even as I locked my door behind me, I couldn't shake the feeling of something watching me. It was the following week when the knocking started. Knock, knock, pause. Knock, knock, knock. Always slow, deliberate, and always at night. At first, I thought someone had the wrong door. But this pattern happened again and again. Every knock stirred something primal in me, an instinctive fear that said, don't open it. So I didn't. But when I finally looked outside through the peephole, nothing. The hallway was empty, completely still. But I swear I saw something, a dark blur at the edge of my vision, moving quickly toward 6B. After another night of knocks, I stepped out into the hallway the next morning, determined to prove to myself that it was all just in my head. But then I saw it. Unit 6B. This time, the door wasn't cracked open. It was wide open, the kind of wide open that feels intentional. I froze and called the building manager immediately. She assured me the apartment was locked, that no one had access yet. You have nothing to worry about, she said with a breezy confidence. But she was wrong. Something wasn't right, and it was only the beginning. The knocking didn't stop, but now it was inside my walls. One night, I was woken up by knocks, not on my door, but from inside my apartment. Faint, soft taps from the hallway wall near the living room. I didn't move. I didn't breathe, and as I sat frozen, I heard something worse. Heavy footsteps dragging lazily across my living room. I didn't want to look, but I forced myself up. What I saw will haunt me forever. The faint outline of something dark, human-shaped, standing just out of reach of the streetlights bleeding through the window. And when I blinked, it was gone, leaving only silence in its wake. But then, the knocking came back, this time on my bedroom door. That was my breaking point. I knew I had to find answers, even if it scared the hell out of me. I waited until morning and forced myself into the hallway, right up to 6B's open door. To my shock, the apartment smelled like decay, stale air, metallic and cold. Inside, the living room had been untouched for months, or so it seemed, except for the footprints. Bare human footprints, tracked deeply into the dust, circling aimlessly as if whoever or whatever had been pacing for hours. At the edge of the room stood the window, and scrawled in the grime, written in shaky, smudged letters, was a message. I am here. That night, I left for good, but not before the pieces clicked together. 2 weeks after I left, I got a call. The new tenant meant to move into 6B had abandoned their lease without explanation. Movers discovered all of their belongings left behind. Luggage, boxes, like they hadn't even stepped foot past the door. And under the mattress, a Polaroid. It was a photo taken through a peephole of me, and scrawled on the back of it, shaky and dark, was a single warning. I am still here, and that's just the beginning. If you think the silence in your home means safety, think again, because sometimes the silence itself is watching. Thanks for joining me tonight on Dark Demon Tales. If this sent a shiver down your spine, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And hit that bell icon. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay safe, because you never know what's lurking just across the hall.